This hunk of aluminum is one of the best pieces of tech your money can buy right now. It's the brand new Mac Mini, which is one of the most, if not the most impressive computer the tech world has seen in the last 10 years, and if you watch this video, you're probably going to agree with me. But first things first, the price to performance ratio of this thing is absolutely insane and cannot be beat by anything else on the market. For context, the base model of this is $600, and to build a custom PC that even competes with it, the processor alone would cost you $600. Then you need to add a graphics card, RAM, power supply, case, all that would total up to about $1,000 even to remotely compete with this little box. This is due to Apple's new M4 processor, which also contains a graphics card inside it. There's some nuance there, like the PC is going to be able to outperform in gaming, but for raw compute power per dollar, this literally cannot be beat. Processor aside, the storage on these things is absolutely blazing fast. You're getting 16 gigabytes of RAM on the base model. This thing is so impressive, never mind the size. And before you try to challenge us in the comments, because I know you guys are going to, please actually substantiate your claims and show me a built-out PC that actually builds this thing without saying it, because you find you won't actually be able to, because the performance on this thing is crazy. The second insane thing about this is you're getting all of that power in one of the smallest PC cases we've ever seen. This thing is 5 inches by 5 inches. That might not sound like a big deal to you, but desk real estate is huge for a lot of people, whether you're a student or have not a lot of space to work with. Not having your PC take up a bunch of space on your desk is a huge premium, and this thing is tiny. It is so well built, it's solid aluminum, and it looks absolutely incredible. On the bottom, you'll see what looks like a single vent, but this is actually 2 takes with intakes and exhaust coming on the front and the back of the machine. The last really impressive part is on the back. Here you have power cable, Ethernet, and HDMI. That's pretty standard, but these, which might look like USB-C ports, are actually Thunderbolt ports. If you don't know what Thunderbolt is, it's basically a USB-C port that has crazy fast transfer speeds and can support things like 4K displays. Having the 3 of them on the back here, even though it's such a small device, gives you infinite flexibility. You could actually run 3 separate displays off this thing, or you could have a bunch of really crazy hubs depending on your needs. Having the Thunderbolt ports here gives you a whole bunch of flexibility. And if you're trying to beef with building a competing PC, you need to factor in things like this. Having Thunderbolt on a motherboard is not a cheap endeavor. For the price performance alone, this thing is an absolute home run, but for everything else that you're getting, this thing is really hard to argue with, especially if somebody is an Apple user and they want to break into the computing power, but they don't want to get an iMac. They don't want to pay for the fancy Apple displays and the keyboard, but they still want that performance. This is the best way to harness all that at a reasonable price. I literally cannot find an argument against this thing, aside from maybe the power button on the bottom, but we'll talk about that in another video because I don't think it's that big of a deal. Someone who's trusted for their opinions in tech, it's very rare that I'll just blanket recommend something to somebody without knowing their specific situation. But if you need a Mac and you are budget conscious, this literally cannot be beat. At the price it's at for $600, the base model, you're getting 16 gigs of RAM, you're still getting the M4. Just buy this. You will not find something better. $600, and there is a $100 student discount as well if you're a student. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm super impressed by this thing. I think it's setting a great precedent for Apple for what they're going towards as far as value per money, breaking all those old stereotypes of Apple's computers being way too expensive based on the performance. I love this thing. Again, let me know if you guys have any questions in your comments. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll catch you in the next video. So this is the brand spanking new Mac Mini. I personally think this is one of the best and most consumer-friendly products Apple has released in a long time. I've got one here. Let's unbox it. Oh. This thing just feels so nice in the hands. Let's see what else we have in the box. Power cable, which is braided. Very nice. Really cool thing here, a lot of other mini PCs have the power supply on the outside of the computer, so there's usually like a huge brick on the power cable here, where this one just goes right into the Mac Mini. That just makes this thing more impressive. But some documents, and of course, no Apple sticker. RIP. And that's it, nothing else in here. So we're here at the start of the show. First off, this thing is absolutely tiny and it is milled out of a solid billet of aluminum. It feels really sturdy and it looks absolutely incredible. Front, we have 2 USB-C ports, a little power indicator light, and a headphone jack. The sides are totally smooth, and then in the back, we have a nice selection of I/O. Power cable, Ethernet cable, and HDMI. We have 3 Thunderbolt ports. These are either Thunderbolt 4 or 5, depending on what model you get. Having 3 Thunderbolt ports is huge. It lets you do things like run 3 monitors at once if you wanted. They have crazy transfer speeds. You could hook up all sorts of hubs. Having these gives you ultimate flexibility in this tiny little package. And I cannot emphasize how small this thing is. At 5 inches by 5 inches for what's packed in here, which is the new M4, is absolutely crazy, but we'll talk about the performance in another video. On the bottom here, we have the all-controversially located power button, as well as 1 single vent, which is actually 2 vents. There's a split in half with the intake and outtake coming out of the front and back, which all combines to be one of the best looking Apple products I've seen in years. I think this will make Steve Jobs very proud. Well, this video was just my initial impressions. I am very impressed by this thing and I can't wait to dive deeper into it. The performance you're getting per dollar on this is absolutely insane. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. If there's any questions you guys have or anything you want to see, let me know in the comments. Keep an eye out for more Mac Mini videos, and I'll catch you in the next one.